Jim Booth. I'm a guest presenter for Tronitech, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about imaging and what justifies the use of imaging as a service. So first thing, let's look at three main reasons, and then we'll go into these in more detail. First of all, imaging makes documents shareable. Second is it makes documents retrievable. And the third is that it makes documents searchable. And of course, Tronitech, as a technology partner, can help you every step of the way. So let's talk about documents being shareable. If your operation is in multiple locations, quite often, you may have to access the same piece of information, or it may have to be transferred one to another with a fair amount of speed. Where documents are born digital or are in a hosted platform, that kind of transfer is not difficult, and imaging creates that for hard copy documents. When the image is created from the piece of paper or film or whatever it is that it's being created from, it will be indexed, and then it is moved into a central repository. So it's possible to access that by searching, which we'll go into as a part of the third point. But it's also possible to transfer this one party to another, or for several offices to look at it simultaneously. This is especially helpful if you have, say, workflow that deals with an approval process, approving different aspects of an invoice from different departments or from different locations. So that's just one application of imaging. Retrievability is a second area. Typically, companies that have a large back file of hard copy records, paper documents, films, x-rays, micrographics, those kinds of things, they will have those in an off-site repository because office space is just too expensive on a per square foot basis to house that stuff unless it's very active. If it's currently in use and very active, of course it's cost justifiable. But these types of information assets are typically placed either with a third-party provider or with some sort of lower cost warehouse environment where it doesn't chew up a lot of the budget to place the information there. Where the wheels fall off the wagon with this kind of approach is if the information, once it's archived, you find suddenly that you have to access it very frequently for audit purposes or litigation purposes or quality process control purposes, or whatever the case may be. So imaging then becomes a very viable alternative to convert that information into digital files, because at that point in time it costs little or nothing to retrieve it. When that is not the case if you have to either go over and look through files and get it yourself if it's in your own repository, or pay a vendor to pull it and bring it over to you. There's also an issue of durability where the information gets worn the more it's used and handled. So you don't have that situation with with an electronic version of a document. And some of those cartons can be quite heavy if information is being pulled on a per carton basis. So that helps prevent employee lifting injuries, and that's also an important consideration. So searchability, it depends completely on good metadata. So at the point in time that an image is made of a document, there are fields that need to be populated with information about how this document will be searched for. So the end users need to basically volunteer how it is they would be asking for this document. Is it going to be by date? Is it going to be by the author? Is it going to be by the client matter number? Is it going to be by the medical record number? I mean, so there's going to be lots of different ways to search for it, and whatever the ways are that are determined need to be captured at the point it's imaged. And that helps to create a uniform system across the enterprise for how things are named, how things are arranged and organized. And that can be extrapolated and used in other areas, not just in the imaging project itself. And I think we can all agree, whether we agree on the statistical numbers or not, all of us spend a certain amount of time looking for things we can't find. So by placing well-indexed information in a searchable form in a central repository, we help reduce the amount of time that we would waste looking for things through file drawers or cartons or whatever the case may be. So those are the main dominant points that have to do with the justification for imaging. If you'd like more information about imaging, I'd encourage you to contact Tronitech. Mark Arkanow would be very pleased to help you, and his contact information is there. If you're interested in learning more about Brightstone Consulting, you can see our web address there as well. And thanks very much.